Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another Morning Slam podcast here, live on YouTube, uploaded on Spotify after, Apple, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, whatever it's called, Google Podcasts. However you may end up consuming this podcast here, I am Justin. We are back. Very big show yesterday, and a lot of news to come out of it. Yesterday, if you guys are living under a rock and somehow you're watching me right now because this is a pro wrestling podcast, there's no way you didn't not hear the news of Jade Cargill officially signed with WWE. I mean, it was everywhere. So we're going to talk about details out of it. We're going to talk about some quotes from her interview. I don't like to really go over quotes that much, but for a signing like this, there's things to pick apart. There's things to talk about as well. We're also going to talk about last night's NXT, which I thought was a good show going into the No Mercy pay-per-view this Saturday. We're also going to talk about Tony Khan's point of view and Tony Khan's side of, with the whole Jade Cargill situation. And also as well, he has another thing coming up as well with possibly a rumor of him buying New Japan, and he answers those questions as well. So we got a lot of news here today. If there's breaking news here, we'll talk about it here as well. So sit back, relax, enjoy a coffee. If you're driving to work, hopefully you're driving safely. If you're on the school bus going to school, hopefully you get to school safely. But yeah, we are back. But let's take care of some of the housekeeping items here. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, X. Link is down below. I am at WrestleSlamPod on X. And also follow me on Instagram as well. I'm going to try to get the Instagram a little bit more life on there. I'm trying to figure some things out as far as what I want to do over there for sure. But yeah, definitely follow me on those two platforms if you guys or listen to me on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts or whatever. Also follow me here or subscribe to me here on YouTube. Want to get the name of the podcast out there. Want to get everything that I do here in people's ears at the end of the day. So if you guys do me those kind of things here, if you can come into the YouTube chat right now, leave a like, all that stuff. So listen, we got all that boring stuff out of the way. Oh yeah, one last thing, obviously. I always forget to mention this. And it's my own company too. How do I forget to mention my own company? This podcast is sponsored by Spinebuster Tees, spinebustertees.com. We have the fall sale going on right now. Use fall 10 at checkout to get a extra 10% off, but we do have an array of t-shirts in men's sizes, women's sizes, tank tops, and also as well a lot of great designs on there. We have a Rhea Ripley inspired design. We have designs that are fun to wear out in public as well. So check it out, Spinebuster Tees, spinebustertees.com. Let's talk some wrestling news, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk some wrestling news. You want to hear something about Jade Cargill today? Does anybody know that Jade Cargill signed to WWE? Does anybody realize that? It's kind of crazy, right? That she signed to WWE. So, after staying on this for 24 hours, nearly 24 hours, and kind of seeing the reaction, I'm seeing a lot of fake, we'll just call that, a lot of fake reaction to Jade Cargill. And what I mean by that, I am a fan of Jade Cargill. Always been a fan of Jade Cargill. Always liked her persona, her look. She looks like a superhero. She looks very unique. You don't have women that look like that built, that jack, that chisel, and being one of the most beautiful women in the world. Like legitimately, she's probably one of the most beautiful women in the world too. At the same time, being that jacked. So, always been a fan of hers, right? Now, I said this yesterday. I don't think her in-ring's the best, but she has a presence. She has a bigger than, larger than life appeal, right? I just don't think her in-ring's the best, and there's some things that she could improve on the mic a little bit too as well. She's okay on the mic though, I will say that, but she has the persona there. So I hate the fact that I saw yesterday on Twitter X that I saw people who I normally see Twitter accounts for people who don't like AEW. They don't like AEW. They don't like the roster over there. Oh, if you're a former WWE talent, like for example, Jon Moxley. Oh, I hate you. Hopefully you guys saw that. I don't know. But if you guys are watching this on YouTube, I see a lot of people yesterday who doesn't like AEW whatsoever, doesn't like the talent over there, even former WWE talent, because they're with the enemy company. They're WWE stands, right? And the fact that when someone goes over to AEW, or if you're an AEW talent, I don't like you. The fact that Jade comes over to WWE is like, oh, I'm a fan of Jade now. Oh, I love Jade. I always love Jade. Cut the shit, as she says, right? Cut the shit. Cut the bullshit. The only reason why everyone was talking about this yesterday and everyone was really going into this is because that Jade, was being touted and, by ESPN, by WWE, right? And I said this yesterday, and I still believe this. I think Jade is the biggest free agent woman signing in WWE history. It will go down as that, right? Not for the in-ring stuff, but for the larger-than-life persona that she brings with it. Her look, her presence, everything, right? And the fact that you got people who disliked her 3 months ago and now all of a sudden like her, come on. We can all do better, guys. We can all do better as wrestling fans. We can all do better, as what we do here. Stop it with the tribalism, guys. Tribalism in wrestling is the worst thing possible. It's worse than sports. It is worse than the NFL fans or NBA fans, and I'm part of that group as well. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. We just lost to the Arizona Cardinals. I'm feeling sick to my stomach. I'm a San Antonio Spurs fan because I live in San Antonio, and plus, I've always been a fan of the Spurs ever since since I was born, since I live in San Antonio. Wembanyama season, right? But I don't really see the tribalism in those sports than I do in pro wrestling. I'm sure there's tribalism in Marvel versus DC. I'm sure there's tribalism versus Star Trek versus Star Wars. I'm sure there's a little bit of tribalism there. And I may be wrong. Wrestling may not be the worst toxic, but it is toxic in pro wrestling. You got your diva stands who people who just like, the women's wrestling, which is fine, right? But I see some people like, well, why isn't the show full with the women on there? Like, oh, you gotta have both. You know what I mean? But I think women's wrestling in WWE has been definitely leaps and bounds 100% better than AEW. Just look at a couple weeks ago, as I mentioned yesterday, that you had 3 women's main events on the weekly TV. Yeah, NXT, Raw, and SmackDown, they're all main evented by women's matches. That's fantastic. That's the stuff I want to see. That's really good. So, the fact that, Jade is in WWE now, since I've been a fan of hers, is a great thing overall. But I just hate the fakeness of fans on social media, right? Just because they left the company that you don't like doesn't mean that you can, it's just annoying and immature, I will say, for the most part, when fans start to oh, I like her now. Like stop it. So what happens when Edge, and we're going to talk about Edge a little bit later, what happens when Edge debuts at Wrestle Dream? Are you going to start to hate Edge now? You loved Edge 2 months ago, right? If you're an Edge fan who doesn't like AEW, you loved Edge 2 months ago, right? Are you still going to love Edge when he goes by the name Adam Copeland and he debuts at Wrestle Dream this Sunday? Time will tell, right? Time will tell. But let's get into Jade Cargill news. A little bit more news that came out of it. Let's talk about what happened on social media with Jade Cargill. So Jade, WWE's announcements of Jade Cargill from WWE's Twitter X surpassed 10 million views under 9 hours. 10 million views under 9 hours. That's over a million an hour. Currently, right now, we're at 13.8 million views on that tweet. 13. Did I say 18? I think I said 18 originally. 13.8. Sorry. 13.8 million views on this tweet. That is massive. Massive. And a lot of people are saying, hey, if this was Wardlow, if this was Ricky Starks, they would have got the same, the red carpet being rolled out for them, got the ESPN treatment, all that stuff. Though I believe so, I think they would do that because this is the first major AEW signing, the homegrown AEW signing that WWE's picked up. Cody's not that, right? Because he was in WWE before, right? And Cody was a made guy over there in AEW. We got Brian Pillman Jr., which we're going to talk about a little bit later, too, as well. It's in the thumbnail. And Brian Pillman Jr.'s vignette was on NXT last night. We're going to talk about the NXT show from last night. But I don't believe the hype would be as much if Ricky Starks and Wardlow were that came over first. I don't think the amount of social media content behind this would have been as big. Yeah, people will still be making their memes out there. People are making memes with Jade Cargill right now and all that stuff. A lot of people are doing that. I'm seeing that. It's funny. It's charming. It's gonna get people to get that funny haha laugh in there. But I really truly think that Jade coming over and with the ESPN announcement is the first domino effect. That's number one. But also number two, I don't think that Wardlow and Ricky Starks, although I love both of them, would have gotten this type of hype. They would have gotten a hype. I think it would have been about 50 to 75% less than what Jade is doing, or 50 to 75% to what Jade is doing. Not less, but to what Jade is doing. So good for Jade Cargill, man. She's gained the attention. They had her, walking into the PC and, in her workout gear, walking into the PC. They had pictures of her being inside of the ring and sitting down and, working out and all that stuff. This is a massive get for WWE. And I said this yesterday, and I said just a little bit ago, too, as well. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to keep repeating it again because this is true. Unless someone can point out to me somebody that I'm missing, this is the biggest woman free agent signing in WWE history. Asuka didn't get that type of, that type of exposure from the beginning. Kairi Sane, Io Sky, who else, right? You can't say Sasha Banks or Bayley or Becky Lynch or even Charlotte Flair because they were not stars yet. They were not stars yet here in the United States. They will to become stars, and I would think, women like Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair may end up being bigger overall in a career over Jade Cargill. But as of right now, star stature, Jade is the biggest woman star who's been signed to WWE as a free agent ever. So, again, you guys can sound off in the comments. If you guys are watching on, or not watching, but listening to on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, definitely give me your opinion about this as well. So, but the social media presence from Jade Cargill coming to WWE is damn impressive. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. It's good for WWE getting exposure. A report by ESPN, and I mentioned yesterday I could see her on First Take. If Disney buys the rights to Raw and to NXT, maybe not NXT, but at least to Raw, we don't know. That can happen still, right? Or if the streaming rights to WWE PLEs goes to Disney and ESPN, I can definitely see not just Jade Cargill, but like people like Roman Reigns. We already saw Roman Reigns, obviously, right? But people like Roman Reigns and Cody and Seth and Becky all being on First Take and ESPN, and they may even do specials like this is the WrestleMania 40s, not 40. It's not gonna happen at WrestleMania. WrestleMania 41, 42, because I think the Peacock deal ends next year. I want to say, I think it ends next year or 2025, wherever the case may be. But regardless, though, Jade Cargill, WWE. We got more Jade news. Or Jade quotes now. So, she was interviewed by The Ringer. And there's a lot of quotes to come out of this here that we're going to talk about here. She says, I feel like I was in preparation for the grand stage. I felt like this was always the mission. I felt like the shoe fit. I felt like this was going to happen. Honestly, this was all expected. I'm excited to be here. And that was from Jade Cargill from The Ringer. So I will say this, number one. She just indirectly buried AEW. I felt like I was in preparation. She used AEW for preparation. I felt like I was in preparation for the grand stage. I'm not saying that she used AEW. I'm saying that the way that she said it is pretty much saying like, hey, like AEW was the stepping stone. Now I'm here in WWE. And WWE is the grand stage. Don't let no one ever tell you that. AEW had All In at Wembley. One of the biggest shows AEW has ever done, right? They fit over 70,000 people officially in Wembley. That is very effing impressive. Like, super impressive. Better than what they're doing in the United States. And we'll probably talk about that maybe tomorrow when we do our Wrestle Dream predictions, because that show ain't sold out. And AEW is having an issue in the States for selling out their shows. They don't need to be all sold out, but it's not looking good from that aspect. But back to Jade. Jade, she said this was always her mission. You gotta think about this as well. She originally was in the Performance Center for a WWE tryout before she even went to AEW. A lot of people forget about that. There's pictures of her online when she had like the short black hair before she was Jade Cargill, before she was Jade Cargill. You know what I mean? So she tried out at the Performance Center, and obviously WWE didn't want to pick her up at the time. A lot of times what WWE does as well, if they don't think you're ready, they encourage you to go to the indies. They encourage you to go to places like AEW. And this is probably before AEW started when she did the tryout. So, but they encourage you to go to places like that. You know what I mean? To like, okay, let's get you ready, right? You know what I mean? You're going to go out to the indies, get better. If you really want to pursue this, we need you to learn the craft first before you can come in over here with us, right? And maybe WWE 2023 probably doesn't want to do that anymore after the merger and they're now TKO, UFC and WWE, and that Jay's being the very first signing to the TKO brand. That's another thing too. That's crazy to say. She's the very first signing, but they may not want to do that anymore. Possibly, right? But at the time, they did want to encourage people to go out there and get better and go to the indies and do that too as well. So very interesting quote from Jade, and another quote from Jade on why she signed with WWE. This is very interesting. I don't know if a lot of people are gonna be picking up on this, but this is from from ESPN, her ESPN interview. She said the leadership. I mean, Paul Levesque, Bruce Pritchard, Dan Ventrell, and Nick Kahn. They're all in quotation marks. That's why I'm saying that. But she says that you can't get any better than that. And I'm the first sign under the TKO umbrella. And that's All right, there we go. I mean, there's so many different things. Where else can you go to get the best quality training? Nowhere else. The PC here is one of one. There's nothing else like it. The machine is behind you. The platform, just the overall history, the legacy. I'm creating a household name. I can go on and on. I mean, why not? The question more so is why not? And she is right too. I mean, she wants to be a household name. She's already somewhat becoming that already to semi-casual wrestling fans. So I would say the fans that love and watch WWE, but may dip a toe into AEW every now and then, and they may be online on Twitter every now and then to see what's going on in wrestling or whatnot, or try to catch up with their favorite wrestler, because you gotta think about it. Casual wrestling fans in 2023 is different from casual wrestling fans in 2010. Casual wrestling fans in 2010 was not on social media. And they did not follow their favorite wrestler. They didn't keep up what their favorite wrestler was doing. Casual wrestling fans in 2023 do follow their favorite wrestler. I think the evolution of the casual wrestling fan has gone into social media, and indirectly they start to get some ideas of news and rumors, and sometimes they get caught up in some bad rumors and bad news and stuff that's just not true at all. I get people that come into my shop, and I'm just gonna advertise this as well. Come into my shop here in San Antonio, Texas, at the Wonderland America's Mall. You can come down there, check me out, and we'll talk wrestling. But nevertheless, I get people come down to my shop, and there you can tell who's really into pro wrestling. You can tell who's casual. You can tell who's who's into the news and all that stuff as well. I get some fans come down there, and granted, they want to talk wrestling with me. Fantastic, I love it. But sometimes they be saying some of the most outlandish stuff. It's not their fault. It's just some of the rumors that they see online, and I'm like, where did you even see that? I saw one, or not saw, but I had a customer line one time, and they were like, "Oh yeah, AJ Styles. I heard he's going to AEW to reform the Bullet Club, and he's gonna get that Kenny Omega guy with him, and they're gonna reform Bullet Club." And all of that sounds pretty cool. No, that's not happening. There's no indication of that happening. AJ's still in the contract with WWE. That's not happening. So. But it's pretty funny. But back to Jade. Jade says she's creating a household name for herself. Like I said, she's about that already. But she says the leadership. She says the leadership is why she signed with WWE. That's the first thing that came out of her mouth. I know that Jade respects Tony Khan, right? But I don't think she respects him as a leader. Possibly, maybe. I'm not. Maybe that's too far for me to even say. But it's clear that AEW has leadership issues. From the Jungle Boy situation with CM Punk overall, Brawl out last year, Brawl in this year. A lot of stuff that people go on TV and do. A lot of things that happen, right, from not just a backstage perspective, but in ring as well. The Matt Hardy situation when when his head bounced off the concrete at I think it was Double or Nothing, and I forget who the spot was against, but I just remember that spot of his head bouncing off the concrete. He had a concussion. You know what I mean? Just the thing that happened last week with Jon Moxley as well. Why they didn't end the match? Why, Tony Khan should be in the ear of the referee saying that, hey, go home and finish this match. John's clearly concussed or whatever the case would be, or his neck's messed up. So she's mentioned the leadership, and I think the leadership in AEW is questionable. There's some things that they do well, but it's questionable at best. So that's number one. Now, number two, you got, she's mentioned Paul, Triple H, she mentioned Bruce Pritchard, she mentioned Nick Khan. So just that right there, I'm very much so, and what she was saying as well, she's talking about the machine and all that too as well. um, you can tell that she's been preparing herself for this role. By the way that she's speaking, so that's that particular quote there. Next quote. This is what we're gonna be talking about here for a little bit too. Jade says her friendship with Cody Rhodes heavily factored into her signing with the WWE. And that's from The Ringer. The domino is falling, ladies and gentlemen. Cody was the first. Jade is the second. Who's going to be that third? Is it Ricky Starks? Is it Wardlow? Is it MJF? Cody is best friends with Ricky Starks, or that's one of his best friends. Jade and Ricky are best friends as well. Ricky posted on social media of Jade Cargill coming to WWE, a picture of them two together. And we'll also talk about, there's a lot of people too as well. I'll kind of go in this direction for a second. There was a lot of people, and I will give AEW credit, the AEW talent credit. There was a lot of people in AEW and in WWE as well who is congratulating Jade Cargill, from Ricky Starks to Will Hobbs to Athena. Just a lot of people in AEW. Tony Khan as well. We'll talk about him in a second of what he thinks about Jade coming to WWE. And on the WWE side, a lot of women is welcoming her with open arms. You got Bayley. You got Becky Lynch. I saw Liv Morgan making a post. I saw Caleb Braxton saying, "Hey, I can't wait to interview you." So WWE is welcoming her with open arms, and it seems that a lot of people from AEW really like Jade and is very happy for Jade and wishing her better in her success. So that's pretty cool. But with the domino effect, as I was mentioning, it's happening. It's happening. I'm not saying everybody that I named, Wardlow, Ricky Starks, MJF, maybe Will Hobbs, is all coming to WWE. I would like to bet at least a couple of those guys will come to WWE. Maybe Ricky. They're using Ricky better on Collision, I guess, because he's not on Dynamite. You know what I mean? They're using Ricky better on Collision. He seems to be a main event player for that show, but he keeps losing. Yes, he beat CM Punk, but what does that mean now? It doesn't mean anything at this point because CM Punk's gone. So, to me, it's like that momentum that he had with CM Punk is kind of gone to me. And he's been losing big matches against Bryan Danielson. And, I'm not going to complain because it's Bryan Danielson, but he hasn't really won those really big matches that really matter at the end of the day. I can see Ricky maybe want to jump ship to WWE, maybe go through NXT for a little bit. I think Ricky Starks being NXT for a little bit can really season him up, and before he gets to the main roster, it could be like a Drew McIntyre experience when he was down there for 6 to 8 months, win the NXT title, lose at the next pay-per-view, and move up to the main roster, right? Wardlow, same thing. Will Hobbs, same thing. Can you imagine NXT this time next year where you have, Ricky Starks, Wardlow? I don't see Wardlow being in NXT, to be honest, but I'm just saying, or maybe Will Hobbs, but not Wardlow. Ricky Starks, maybe Wardlow, Will Hobbs, Brian Pillman Jr. You got a massive amount of guys down there. You still got the Creed brothers. We don't know if the Creed brothers are going to split up. You don't know if Julius Creed's going to be a big time single star. We don't know about Brooks Jensen. Brooks Jensen, I think, is a breakout single star in NXT as well. He just has that look on him. I don't really like the Cowboys shtick with it, but you know what I mean. I think that's something big too as well. So, but yeah, man, Jade Cargill and her saying her friendship with Cody. Do not take that lightly, guys. That's big, because if I know Jade and Cody are close friends, I will say that Cody and Ricky Starks are even closer friends. Ricky was at the Royal Rumble. Or was it WrestleMania? No, it was WrestleMania, wasn't it? It was one of those two. I forgot. No, I think Ricky was at WrestleMania. Wherever it was, Ricky was backstage at WWE. I think it was WrestleMania last year. When he was backstage. So that should tell you something right there. You know what I mean? Even guys like QT Marshall. I know people don't really love QT Marshall, but he could be an asset to WWE as well. He gets heel. He gets great heel heat. Like I really appreciate what QT Marshall does. I really do. I don't know why people really don't like QT Marshall. I'm not saying that he's the greatest or anything, but like I just don't get all the unnecessary hate for QT Marshall too. So, but anyway, moving on. Next quote from Jade. She says, "There's no grander stage than this stage, WWE. The opportunities are endless for this company. It's a no-brainer. It's very welcoming. I didn't have any second thoughts about it. It was just an easy choice. It wasn't easy, but it was easy." And that's coming from Jade Cargill and The Ringer. So, hey, man. She ain't telling no lies there. WWE is the grandest stage of them all, right? WrestleMania is where every professional wrestler wants to be. And she's saying the opportunity as well. I know Jade. I don't say I know her, but I believe I know Jade wants to go into Hollywood of some fashion. Now, if it ain't Hollywood, modeling too as well. Man, get Jay on a runway, man. Like, get her, like, because Maxine Dupree, she was doing some modeling, a few weeks ago when Triple H was sitting with Jeff Bezos, at an event. I think it was like in New York City or Paris or somewhere like that, right? Sitting there, why are you sitting next to Jeff Bezos, Triple H? Working on something with Amazon? I don't know. But, yeah, man, like, Jay wants to become a megastar. She believes that she can be the female Rock. She can be the female Batista, the female John Cena. Not just from a WWE perspective, but really more from a Hollywood perspective. I mean, she has that look. She is stunning. She's built like a brick house. She has that opportunity. And hopefully one day she can have that opportunity. And hopefully one day she can fulfill her wishes. I really think that she could. So she's saying it wasn't an easy choice, but it was an easy choice at the end of the day. I don't think it wasn't easy because she didn't want to leave, the people that she knew from AEW. I believe that she really enjoyed her time there, right? She really respected Tony Khan for giving her the platform, right? But she's saying it was an easy choice because of the opportunities and the bigger stage with WWE. Again, as I mentioned yesterday, it's not just about her signing that contract, that big money contract, is what comes with it. The opportunities, one, I mentioned Hollywood too as well. But don't forget, television commercials, she's going to be used for television commercials as well, to like the Snickers or the Oat Spice or whatever, however they want to do with Jade, right? She's going to be used for television commercials as well for WWE. That's number one. Number two, merchandise. WWE recently has the best merchandise team in the world. I don't know about maybe about 10 years ago, some of the shirts, when they were kind of going to those UFC style shirts for like Brock Lesnar, obviously, and Randy Orton and Triple H, I didn't really like those shirts, but regardless though, I think the marketing team is gonna do her wonders, right? They're gonna probably sell some wigs to little girls in the crowd, right? Of that platinum silver wigs. I mean, you could probably do that. She's going to get a lot of Mattel figures, from basics to elites to Ultimate Editions. Like a Jade Cargill Ultimate Edition is going to be glorious. It's going to look so good, right? To trading cards, to a Funko Pop. She's going to get a pop. She's going to finally be in pop form. There's the merchandise is endless for Jade Cargill, and it is going to be fantastic. I cannot wait to see it. And yeah, man, it's just gonna be awesome, man. So yeah, man, she's definitely in the right spot. More news on Jade here. Another quote here, and we got this is the last quote here from Jade Cargill that I got. She says, "I wouldn't say it's a ceiling in AEW. I just say that the route I want to take was different, and the route I want to embark on was different. I didn't see over there where I could fit it. The only way I can do it was coming to the WWE universe. And that is the last quote that I have from Jade Cargill in The Ringer. Where is she telling lies? I don't want people's panties to get in a bunch when I say this. I don't want people's panties to get in a bunch when I say this. Jade leaving AEW, in theory, if you look at it, if you glance at it, is a huge loss for AEW because she is the second biggest woman on that roster behind Britt Baker. She is. And she was treated like it too as well, for the most part. But in reality, this was not a big loss for AEW. And the reason why it wasn't a big loss for AEW because the way that they treated Jade's title reign, and how they protected Jade, and how Jade never really improved in the ring. Great presence, right? She had great entrances, great attire, right, on pay-per-views. She came out like as Chitara, right? Freaking awesome. She came out as Jade from Mortal Kombat. I mean, she is basically Storm. So, you know, she had that dance that one time, you know, with the sorority, the HBCU sorority. So her presence is there, but just the way that Tony Khan treated her, and I don't want to say that in a negative way, but like just the way how she was presented on TV her last 6 to 8 months, was it doing her any favors, right? Are we going to forget, you know, the bad matches with Marina Shafir? I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? It just is what it is, right? It was a bad match. It was a bad match, and that was also going on social media, if you guys remember, where she attacked, you know, another podcaster, JD from NY, and which I thought that, you know, I didn't really agree with the attacking because at the end of the day, bro, if you know who JD from NY is, great. If you don't, you know, this may not even matter. But I will just say this: you cannot, as a wrestler, get super mad. You can get upset a little bit, you know what I mean, because you're a human at the end of the day. But you can't get so pissed off on social media over a fan's wrestling opinion, right? Sometimes you see that in the NBA. Sometimes you see that in NFL where fans like us, we critique a player's performance or a wrestler's performance. That's all we're doing. We're critiquing. We don't dislike you as people, right? We're talking about your in-ring performance and your on-screen character, right? So again, as I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast here, I said I love Jade Cargill. I really think that she's going to be great in WWE. She's going to get everything that she wants in WWE. I really enjoyed her time in AEW, but I would be remiss to not mention of some of the things that she struggles on, and that and some of her you know, not great moments. One of those moments was against Maria Shafir. She didn't have a great match against Taya Valkyrie as well, right? I think that was where was that at? Was that at Revolution, I believe that was earlier this year? When because she lost the title at Revolution, right? Or am I missing something? Maybe it was Revolution, I forget. But where she lost the title to Chris Statlander, when Chris Statlander made that surprise appearance. But just at the end of the day, man, like, you know, you can't just let, you know, fans like us dictate your attitude towards us, because at the end of the day, we are fans, and we're paying money too as well for the product. We are paying money for the product. We have to pay for cable services. Some people buy cable just to watch certain things. I only have cable because of NFL, NBA, pro wrestling, and that's probably it. If I'm being brutally honest, NFL, NBA, pro wrestling, that's probably about it. I watch some TV shows every now and then, not as much as I used to, but regardless though. So that's enough Jade quotes for now. Let's go into Tony Khan's take on this here and what he thinks about Jade Cargill leaving AEW. And there was a Wrestle Dream media call yesterday as well, which got And I'm pretty sure Tony Khan's maybe a little bit not glad, because obviously he wants, more eyes and ears on his product, but I think he's kind of somewhat glad because his first major homegrown talent left WWE left AEW for WWE. He says this: I only have positive things to say about Jade. It's been great having her in AEW. She's always welcome here. She had a great run with us and has a great career, I'm sure, in front of her. Wishing her the best in the future. So that is from Tony Khan in the Wrestle Dream media call. Outside, that was Tony Khan from the outside. Inside, he's like, I lost Jade. That's probably the way he felt. Maybe. I can't tell you for sure, but that's probably the way that she felt, or that he felt. But he says that, he only has positive things to say about Jade. He probably really does feel that way about Jade Cargill. He probably does really feel that way about Jade Cargill. And, he says that, that she had a great run with us. Yeah, because you made her undefeated for 50-plus matches and, great. And he says that she's always welcome back as well. So, I believe Tony Khan in that aspect. I really do. I really do believe Jade in that aspect. But I also will say this as well. He does not want to give up. If I'm Tony Khan, I would not want to give up anybody else. I'm throwing the money at MJF. I'm making promises to Ricky Starks. I'm making sure Wardlow is in a prominent position, main event position. I'm making sure that Will Hobbs gets a title reign of some sorts as well. You know what I mean? Because, yeah, he did have the TNT title reign, but who remembers that? Does anybody remember Will Hobbs with the TNT title? No. So I'll put, Will Hobbs in main events and maybe put him in a main event of a pay-per-view. That's what I'm doing if I'm TK, because I don't want to lose any more guys. My goal is to not lose anybody else from my AEW roster. Period. I don't want to lose anybody else. So the fact of the matter is that he needs to hunker down and bunker down with these talents, because he is going to end up losing more talents than he's going to gain, and he's going to gain one massive talent here as well. And we'll talk about that here in a second. But another quote from Tony Khan at the Wrestle Dream media call is, I want to continue that partnership. He's talking about in regards to New Japan Pro Wrestling. So he says, I want to continue that partnership for a very long time. And right now we have something very good going. I'm a little surprised by the speculation. I don't know where it came from. And that was Tony Khan's speculation on that he may buy New Japan Pro Wrestling. So there's been not a big rumor. Tony Khan said this as I was saying that the landscape of professional wrestling is changing very, very soon, and that there's a huge announcement to make. What I'm hearing is that the Max deal, the Max deal, AEW merger, or not merger, but the deal to get Max or AEW on Max to live stream pay-per-views on there for $10 a month is set to be imminent. We may hear an announcement maybe tonight. We may hear an announcement on Sunday. We may hear an announcement even next week. But it seems to be happening, finally. We've been hearing rumors forever and ever and ever and ever and ever, but it seems that it's to be happening. So we'll see. It is we'll see what happens there with that. But that'll be very big if that does happen. Because I don't want to pay $50 a month no more for these pay-per-views. Period. So, yeah. But so good. Good for Tony Khan. Good for AEW. Hopefully that's what it is, because that'll be very big for them. Next, this is coming from Better Wrestling Experience, and also from a couple other sources as well. But Better Wrestling Experience posted this first. They're the ones leading the charge with this. Edge is closer to AEW more than ever, apparently. And other sources out there are mentioning that he will debut Sunday most likely Sunday at Wrestle Dream. And that was also coming from Andrew Badala from Tuesday Night Titans on the JD from NY206 channel. So I caught wind of that last night, and he mentioned that Edge is to debut on Sunday. So, Andrew, if you get a hold of this here, hope you're right, because that'd be pretty good for you. You know what I mean? So yeah, Edge may be debuting on Sunday. Good, great, I love it. It's different. I want Edge to go to AEW. I really do, because there's nothing else for him to do in WWE. There's nothing else for him to do in WWE. He ain't gonna win. I mean, the only thing maybe, may win the World Heavyweight Championship, but really saw the feud with Seth Rollins, long feud with Seth Rollins, right? You know what I mean? When they're in, invading homes and stuff like that. That's number one. Number two, Adam Copeland in AEW. It's just, you got a lot of dream matches per se, and a lot of things that they can do that they can continue, right? Edge and Christian. I don't even need to go more in detail about that, either as a tag team or as, going up against each other. That's number one. Can you imagine Edge and Christian winning the AEW Tag Team Championships? Holy hell, that'll be a moment, right? Edge versus Kenny Omega. Edge versus Bryan Danielson. Edge versus Hangman Adam Page. Edge versus Ricky Starks. Edge versus, insert name here, MJF. Imagine that feud, MJF and Edge. Is Edge coming over to AEW? Is Adam Copeland coming to AEW to recruit? This is where I put my tinfoil hat on. Is Edge going to AEW to recruit? Indirectly. I'm not saying he's going to be in the locker room like, hey, guys want to go to WWE? Hey, Tony Khan, you want to go to WWE? Not saying that. But what I am saying is that all throughout the history of pro wrestling, there has been a lot of crazy speculation out there. Like, Vince Russo went to WCW to kill WCW, or Bret Hart went to WCW to, help recruit some of the younger guys to come over to WWF. So, I'm not putting that out of the realm that Edge is over. I will say this. Edge is 100% going over there to actually have a brand new experience and to make more money too. But also as well, because I don't think he was ready to retire, but he wants to have those matches. He wants to close that chapter of his career. He wants to end his career on a solid note where he is, where he's someone where he's like, hey, I got to wrestle in AEW, maybe become an AEW champion. Who knows, right? In the twilight of my career. And he can still go in the ring right now. But the other side of me is speculating that he's going to go over there and indirectly recruit guys to WWE, because he's going to, I'm more sure that he's going to be asked about, hey, how is it over there? Ricky started, hey, how is it over there? MJF, hey, how is it over there? Adam, hey, how is, Will Hobbs, hey, how is it over there? Warlow, hey, how is it over there? You're going to get a lot of people that may ask Edge that question potentially. And he's going to give an honest answer. There's no reason why he's not going to give an honest answer about it. You know what I mean? Edge was over there since freaking 1998. You know what I mean? He was gone. He was gone for, essentially 8-9 years, right? And, he came back and, he had a good run, within the company there too as well. When he came back, minus the Randy Orton stuff at Pandemic Mania. But, hey, man, like, if Edge goes to AEW, it's a massive gift for AEW. He is to debut on Sunday from the amount of people saying it. BWE experiencing that he is close to AEW now than ever. Andrew Badala mentioned that he is to debut Sunday. So we'll see if Adam Copeland is coming out to Alter Bridge on Sunday. That'll be great to see. More AEW news. Minor stuff. You may or may not care, but it's in the news, and I'm going to read it out because people may care. Sources in AEW have said that one of the reasons why Serena Deeb, yes, we're talking about Serena Deeb here, has been gone from TV is a heated disagreement with the AEW management. However, Deeb has told people close to her that she sustained an injury, and that's why she's missing time, and that's coming from Fightful and Sean Ross Sapp. Look, I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I think Serena Deeb was a not a massive get. I will very much so be lying to you if I said that she was a massive get. But she is a fantastic get for AEW. She is very tenured, right? She has a lot of experience. She can wrestle in the ring, right? She had that, she had the doctor of technical wrestling, wherever she was doing that gimmick that she was doing there for a while. If she's out with an injury, she's out with an injury. I'm not going to speculate and say, look, oh, man, Serena Deeb, man, well, she was friends with CM Punk, and, CM Punk's gone, and Ace Steel is gone. I'm not even going to even go in that direction. But, she sustained an injury. She's missing time. Hopefully she's back on TV soon. Hopefully she can go up to the TBS title. That'll be cool I think that'll be cool for Serena Deeb to do. Go after the TBS title and see what they do with her. That's all I can really say. But the AEW's women's division definitely does need someone like Serena Deeb on TV a few times a month on television, doing her thing on TV. And she can be a great heel. She can get great heat, right? As a heel, I really think that she is a good catalyst for this division because this division needs something right now. It really does. You have Toni Storm. You have Ruby. You have Saraya. And Saraya, I'll give her credit. At what was it, All Out, or was it last week? Was it last week, dude? Man, my head is all jacked up. I think it was last week where she had that match with Toni Storm, the 1-on-1 match, and it was a great match, fantastic match. I think it was last week, last Wednesday, when she had that great match with Toni Storm, and it was very good for TV. It was possibly the best I saw Saraya, right? So, Saraya, Toni Storm, revitalization of her character. I really love Willow Nightingale. I like Britt Baker. I'm asking myself, where is Thunder Rosa? I know that she's trying to come back. So hopefully she comes back sooner rather than later, because she'll be a fantastic addition back on the AEW women's roster. So you got Julia Hart. You got Sky Blue. Everyone loves Sky Blue, right? Cheek City, right? Everyone loves Sky Blue. But Sky Blue, Cheek City, like, it's obvious why people love Sky Blue. But hey, man, Serena Deeb, her coming back would be a very nice addition to the AEW women's roster. All right, well, last bit of news before we get into looks like we're gonna get into some NXT. Aleister Black. Malachi Black. I don't know why I call it Aleister, but you guys know. Malachi Black. He was on Instagram, it looks like. I think it was last night. In reference to why he wasn't on TV. A lot of people are speculating that he has a bad back. And last year, he stated, he went on live saying, well, his back injury wasn't as bad as people are thinking it is out to be. Like, hey, that he has to retire on and stuff. He's stating that, hey, the only reason why I'm not on TV right now is because I have a minor calf tear. He has a hyperextension of his knee. And he's also saying why he doesn't know why he's not having singles matches as well. That's a little bit of a caveat there that Malachi says, hey, I don't know why I'm having singles matches, but I'm currently out right now with an injury, a minor calf tear. I don't know if a calf. I'm hearing a calf tear being minor. I don't believe that, but whatever. But anything that's torn, I don't think that's minor. But if he says it's minor, I'm gonna go with him saying that's minor. And he's saying a hyperextension of his knee. So, but he's saying that he doesn't know why he's not having any singles matches. I mean, they want to keep the House of Black together as a trios, obviously, right? But I get it. I will say this. They are somewhat fumbling the ball with Malachi. They did some great stuff with him at the beginning with him and Cody, right? Putting him over Cody. And for a while they really used him for a while. Then he formed the House of Black. He got Brody King in there. They added Buddy Matthews. They added Julia Hart, right? And now they did win the Trios Championship, and they lost it at All In against the Acclaim. And now it's like, where is the House of Black? Where are they? What's going on with them? Julia Hart's getting a match versus Chris Statlander at Wrestle Dream, which is very good for her. I mean, because she deserves it. She's on a 26-match win streak, for God's sakes. Maybe possibly 27 tonight, because we're going to be talking about AEW tonight as well, Dynamite. But I will say, all the people that they brought from AEW or from WWE to AEW, like your Miros, like your Malachi Blacks, like your Andrades, guys like that, I will say that Malachi is in the middle of that, possibly. You know what I mean? I think he's in the middle of all that there, because he should be used so much more than what he is actually getting right now. So hopefully Malachi recovers soon. He should be better utilized on TV. As it was not better utilized on TV, but better utilized in singles matches, because you can still have the House of Black do trios, tag team matches, and singles matches all together, right? But I hope he gets what he wants soon. He signed a long contract with AEW, but this is the second video in a year that he's cutting. He's not shooting on anything like that, but just the rumors of Malachi Black possibly not saying, and he says that he was happy in AEW as well. So I should probably take the man's word over rumors, right? But there were rumors out last year saying that he was unhappy, but he's coming out saying that he is happy in AEW. He made that video last year, and he's saying here as well, like, it's the first time you guys are seeing me talk about NXT here, and I am a big NXT guy. I love what they do down there. NXT is I won't say my favorite. Well, it is my favorite show. Let me step back for a second. It is my favorite show of the week, because I will say this: you cannot watch Raw the same way you watch NXT, the same way you watch Dynamite, the same way you watch any other show, Impact, right? I watch all these shows differently. I do. And the fact that what they're doing at NXT right now, and the way that they're rebuilding it back up from NXT Black and Gold to 2.0 to this new version, maybe it's white and gold NXT now, is going up that ascent. You got a fantastic roster down there. I think you have the deepest women's roster down there. Like, their women's division is so deep down there on the amount of talent that they got. But you got guys down there like Carmelo Hayes, Braun Breaker. You got Ilya Dragunov, and those three right there are probably three of my favorite wrestlers in wrestling right now, right? You got Joe Gacy. You got Wesley. I want to hear the story of Wesley right now. You got Dijak. You got Dragon Lee, Axiom, Tyler Bate, Trick Williams. You got a lot of guys down there. Eddie Thorpe. You know what I mean? Just a lot of guys down there, including tag teams as well. That is the future. And I really like Noam Dar too. Like, oh my God, I love Noam Dar. I used to love when he used to say Alicia fucks. I love that. And I love what they're doing with the metaphor as well. So NXT has a lot of things to like about it. And we got NXT No Mercy coming up this Saturday. We have Wrestle Dream on Sunday. We'll talk about that tomorrow when we do the predictions for the show. And I will say this here. I think, I know Wrestle Dream is going to be a better show, but NXT is not going to be a bad show either on Saturday. So let's talk about NXT from last night. First, we had the Global Heritage Invitational Finals, Butch versus Joe Coffey. Butch defeats Joe Coffey in this match. this tournament was like the G1 climax, right, from New Japan. So I really love how NXT is the catalyst to try new things. They brought back the War Games, now it's on the main roster, right? They did the Cruiserweight Classic. They did the Dusty Rose Cup. They do the breakout tournaments for men and women. They did the they do a lot of stuff down there. Where it's tournaments, especially, but they do a lot of stuff down there. They had that I forget the name of the match now. But that one match that they had, I think it was earlier this year, where it was for, I believe it was for the North American Championship. I totally forget the name. I gotta look this up. Because it's gonna bother me. It's going to bother me if I don't if I don't look at this here. So let's see here. Let's see that name of the of that match. Jesus, man. And I think it was at NXT. Let's see. Was it I don't think it was like Battleground, maybe, or was it Stand and Deliver, maybe? I think it was Stand and Deliver. Maybe it was Stand and Deliver. It was, hold on. We're gonna get there. I think it was a match that Grayson Waller won. Damn it. Why can't I remember these things? Or was it last year? I gotta find it. See how unprepared I am? And oh, it was Deadline. Was it? It was NXT Deadline, I think it was. Yeah, it was Men's Iron Survivor Challenge. That match there. Where you get the most falls. It's kind of like an Iron Man match mixed in with like shark cages, people being put in penalty boxes and all that stuff. It's great. Great stuff. You know what I mean? But back to NXT. I just love that, that they're being very they're putting new things out there to see if it works and see if it sticks. Tony D and Stacks, Shane Stacks Lorenzo, they had dinner. They were there with Los Lotharios. Eventually, we do see a match being made for, and this is later on in the show, for NXT No Mercy. You're going to have the family versus Roberto Carrillo and Angel Garza, Los Lotharios, versus Lucian Price and Brock Onema versus the Creed Brothers in a Fatal 4-Way. So that is going to be your NXT Tag Team Championship match there. Baron Corbin defeats Josh Briggs here. I really like Josh Briggs. I like Baron Corbin as well. This was a good big man match here. Yeah, Lucian Price and Brock Onema defeat Hank Walker and Tank Ledger. Hank the Tank, which is this is one of the lore teams in NXT is Hank and Tank. Lucian Price and Brock Onema, I want to like them. I want to be big fans of them. Just not there yet. I gotta see more. Maybe this pay-per-view on Saturday is probably where I tip into more of a fanhood with them. But yeah, also Scripps is with them too as well, and he still names Scripps for some reason. A. Thorpe defeats Dijak, but Dijak gets his heat back. Yeah, A. Thorpe's family at ringside, and I believe his niece was there as well. Just WWE just said lately, fuck the kids, right? Chad Gable's daughter, and now you have A. Thorpe's niece, just crying in the crowd. But Dijak was just beating the hell out of him with the strap. This was a strap match, by the way. Beating the hell out of him with the strap as well. Even though Eddie Thorpe defeats Dijak with with the elbow drop from the top rope, Dijak got his heat back by basically hanging up Eddie Thorpe and just beating the hell out of him. So that was fantastic. Thea Hell defeats Danny Palmer, and Danny Palmer, who's also going to be in the breakout tournament. Thea Hell coming out looking very different, we'll say. All black leather. So Thea Hale, and as I mentioned this as well, Thea Hale is having that Julia Hart treatment right now, because when Julia Hart first turned heel, she went from the light, that bubbly cheerleader, to the dark, got depressed, and turned full on heel goth chick. This is not the same, but Thea Hale, she's with JC Jane. JC Jane is a very bad influence on Thea Hale. Went to have her go get new wardrobe, and having her swear a lot more. And Thea Hale's already swearing already, but so we're not getting that bubbly, a very energized Thea Hale. Now we're getting the Thea Hale that's like, I'm a grown ass woman. I'm a grown ass woman. So very fun stuff here. But she defeats Danny Palmer. I think Thea Hale's coming along nicely in the ring as well. But at the end here, you see JC Jane hugging Thea Hale, and all you see is Andre Chase and Duke Hudson in the Eagle's Nest, and you just see JC Jane just blowing them a kiss, like, oh, like she's mine now. So, very cool there, very good stuff. We did see a segment here with Trick Williams and Carmelo hanging out. Carmelo wasn't paying any attention to him whatsoever. And basically, Trick was like, "Hey man, are you paying attention to me?" And Mel keeps being distracted by his phone. So that slow burn of a Trick Williams heel turn is happening. And as of right now, Trick Williams will be right to turn heel. We will understand why the villain turned on the superhero if this does happen, when it does happen, I should say. Because as of right now, everyone thinks that Trick Williams can't, is in Carmelo Hayes' shadow, that he can't, win the big one, that he can't do this on his own, that he needs Carmelo. Once he turns heel, I don't want to hear the fans like, oh my God, why Trick turned on Carmelo? Like all the casuals out there, right? Trick has every right to turn on Carmelo Hayes. He has every right to turn on Carmelo. We just gotta have to see how they tell that story. But speaking of Trick Williams, he was in a match for a Fatal 4-Way for the #1 contendership for Dominic's North American Championship for No Mercy, and he does win. He defeats Dragon Lee, Axiom, and Tyler Bate. All four of these guys look well. Trick Williams is improving. I really think that in the next year or so, keep treating him that TLC. He may end up getting the NXT Championship sometime next year, maybe. He may take it off for Carmelo for all we know. But I really think that Trick Williams has to make him being a huge star in WWE. I think that Melo will end up being a bigger star overall, me personally, as of right now today, just because his in-ring dynamic, and Melo's chiseled as well, and he can talk on the mic. I think the only thing that's holding Trick Williams back right now is his in-ring ability. He's getting better. I'm not saying that, but I don't know if I will trust Trick Williams in a 30-minute match with Roman Reigns right now. Definitely not, right? I trust Melo to do that. I don't trust Trick Williams to do that as of yet. But very good match. Trick Williams gets the win, and he will face up against Dominic at No Mercy. And you get a NXT Championship contract signing. One of the things to end the show here, you got Carmelo Hayes and Ilya Dragunov. They go back and forth on the mic. One point, Melo says, hey, I'm not like Braun Breaker. Hey, I'm not like he said, hey, I'm not like Trick Williams, and he stopped himself. So that will be another ribbon in this story here, that Trick has every right to turn on Melo. And Trick is not the bad guy in this situation. Melo is. You know what I mean? Because he's been ignoring him. He's been, thinking that Trick can't do it on his own. It's I don't know. But WWE is, they're gonna make Trick the heel, but in reality, Melo's really the heel in this situation here. So, but they end up signing the contract, and they go head to head, go face to face, and Mel says that the NXT title is bigger than them, and he says that Ilya couldn't be a better champion than he can. So it's gonna be a banger, man. We're gonna see a banger match on Saturday. Could be one of the matches of the year if given the time. We got news that at No Mercy Dragon Lee will be a special guest referee for the North American title as well. And also the way NXT ends, we see a brawl between Braun Breaker, Baron Corbin, basically being thrown around on someone's car. I don't know, was that Jade Cargill's car, in the NXT parking lot? But they were just beating the hell out of each other in the NXT parking lot. They go inside, and basically Braun spears Baron Corbin through a drywall into Shawn Michaels' NXT office. Shawn Michaels, weren't you supposed to be in Gorilla? Why are you in your office? You're supposed to be in Gorilla. Why are you in your office? I don't understand that. But regardless, though, Shawn was in his office, and that's how NXT ends. And to me, it was a very good show overall. So there's one thing I didn't forget, guys. I didn't forget about the Brian Pillman vignette. We're going to talk about that right now. I just want to say that to the end. But I thought NXT was very good overall. So during NXT, however, we saw the Brian Pillman vignette. They showed eyewitness news at 12 or something like that. I think that was for Cincinnati. Then they showed a very old Cincinnati Bengals training camp video. Maybe that was Boomer Esiason that was behind center. I didn't really pay attention to the number. Then they showed WCW Saturday night from 1990, 1991. And it showed, just flipping the channels, and showed WCW Saturday night. It was a 15-second promo. Brian Pillman Jr. is to debut in NXT very soon. I give it a couple weeks before he debuts, because usually with these vignettes, they give it maybe 2 or 3 vignettes before they debut. Can't wait to see his attire. Can't wait to see his look. Can't wait to see his entrance. WWE, and I should have said this about Jade Cargill earlier, so for both Jade and Brian Pillman, the music is going to be everything. The presentation of how they're presenting themselves is going to be everything. And WWE is the best in the business that does that, period. When Finn Balor debuted, when, it was just amazing. Bobby Roode, amazing. Shinsuke Nakamura, amazing, right? So, can't wait to see what they do with Brian Pillman Jr. It's going to be... It's going to be very exciting, man. Very exciting to see on what they do with him in NXT. But I expect him to debut in the next few weeks. Definitely by Halloween. And that's probably giving myself a little bit more time than necessary. But, good for Brian Pillman Jr. Can't wait to see what he does on WWE NXT television. NXT No Mercy. We got about 15 minutes left here on the podcast. We're going to... quickly go over this here. NXT No Mercy this Saturday, live from the Mechanics Bake Arena in Bakersfield, California. I don't know if the show's sold out as of yet, but we'll find out in the next coming days here. But we're going to go over the matches here, and we're going to go over the main event. I'm just going to go over the matches in order. We'll save the main event for last. Obviously, it's going to be the NXT Championship. But we have Braun Breaker versus Baron Corbin. I think that... I don't know, man. Braun Breaker should win, right? In theory. Because Baron Corbin doesn't need to win, but Braun Breaker's been in NXT forever, too, as well. I don't know what they're doing with Braun Breaker. I know what they're doing with Braun Breaker, because they're trying to make him, trying to rebuild him back up before he goes up to the main roster as a heel. Which is fine, but how much longer does he need to be down there in NXT, right? I will probably have him, at this point, I'll probably just keep him down there for maybe until the end of the year and have him come in at the Royal Rumble. That's probably what we'll do. But what I will do right now is I will have Braun Breaker win. Braun Breaker win. Regular singles match, not a hardcore match or anything like that. So Braun Breaker wins, gets the win over Baron Corbin. Maybe Baron Corbin can get a win over Braun Breaker on regular NXT. So have to wait and see. For British Rounds rules for the NXT Heritage Cup Championship, Noam Dar with the Metaphor versus Butch. Noam Dar is going to win. Should be a fantastic match. I really like the Heritage Cup. I really like what Noam Dar is doing. It's some of the most fun stuff that I'm seeing on TV right now. It's great. It's great. Going with Noam Dar for the win. Should be a very fun match. Carmella. Well, no, we're not doing Carmella versus Ilya Dragunov. This is the way to have it in order. Becky Lynch versus Tiffany Stratton. Extreme Rules match for the NXT Women's Championship. If Tiffany didn't lose the title originally, I would have said maybe Becky will win here. See, here's the thing. Tiffany should win by default. But if Becky loses, what are they going to do with Becky Lynch? What are they going to do with Becky Lynch? Becky Lynch needs to be around a title. She has to be around a title. She cannot, her and Charlotte cannot do anything else at WWE unless it doesn't involve a title or you go up against a legend. And plus the story with Tegan Knox on Monday too as well. Becky Lynch is going to win this. I don't want it to, but Becky Lynch is going to win. And also as well, WWE does everything strategically. They did the Jade Cargill announcement very strategically. They're doing everything strategically as right now with this merger with UFC, and they're now known as TKO. They want to have Becky Lynch on NXT for a while because they're trying to get as much money as they can for NXT when the rights deals come up. Period. I understand why they're doing it. I just don't agree why it has to come at the expense of the NXT women's division. So Becky Lynch is going to win. That's going to set up something for her and Tegan Knox on Raw. So yeah. Should be a good match. By the way, it should be a good match. I think Tiffany Stratton is fantastic at what she does. She's great. She's blossomed very quickly into being a very good women's wrestler as well. She still has some stuff that she needs to work on, obviously, like her promo ability for one, but her in-ring stuff, she's getting there for sure. For the NXT North American Championship, we got Trick Williams versus Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio is going to win. Trick is going to lose. Trick is going to get frustrated about this, and he's going to buy into the fact that he can't do things on his own, and eventually he's going to turn on Carmelo Hayes. Again, I still think Carmelo is the heel in this situation, but yeah. Fatal 4-way match for the NXT Tag Team Championship. It is the family, the champions, Tony D'Angelo versus Stax Lorenzo. Not versus, but with Stax Lorenzo versus Lucian Price and Bronco Nima versus the Creed Brothers versus Los Ethereos. I have the family winning. I don't see them putting the titles back on the Creed Brothers, even though the Creed Brothers is probably one of my favorite tag teams in WWE right now. I love the Creeds. Los Ethereos, I don't think they're going to do it yet. If anyone's going to win, it would be Los Ethereos to take the titles off the family. Lucian Price and Bronco Nima, this is just their debut pay-per-view match, and this is just to showcase them, see what they can do, and so fans can get behind them. They're not going to win. If they win, I don't think that's a good decision. That's just my opinion, unless they really put on a very, very, very good match. Outside of that, I don't see them. I don't see them winning. But it should be a very interesting match as well. You got at least 3 of these teams in here, can really go. Lucian Price and Bronco Nima is the jury's still out for that, but my 2 may change on Saturday after Saturday. Main event: Carmelo Hayes versus Ilya Dragunov. I will say this. I would love to see Ilya as NXT champion. I think he deserves it. I really do. But I think they may want to put Ilya Dragunov up to the main roster. I think Ilya Dragunov could be a man that could beat Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. I've been saying this for a while now. Not internally. This is only the third show here, but I've been saying this for a while that Ilya Dragunov can beat Gunther because of the fact that he defeated Gunther NXT UK title reign. I believe they want to retell that story on the main roster. I believe they want to tell that story at a WrestleMania. That will be amazing. But I don't think Gunther is going to go to WrestleMania as the Intercontinental Champion. He may lose it prior to then. He may lose it to Chad Gable, right? And Gunther will be in the Royal Rumble and win the Royal Rumble and possibly go up against Seth Rollins. That's probably the better route. But I don't really see Ilya being in NXT much longer. That's the first side of it. The second side of it is that Trick Williams gets so frustrated, screws Mello, and then you have Trick versus Mello in a one-on-one feud that doesn't involve the NXT Championship, and have Ilya Dragunov become champion for a little bit. So there's ways that they could do this, but if I had to pick one, I'm going to go with Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo winning the match and still retains as your NXT champion. And this is definitely something that I think that can still the weekend, because we got AEW and we have Wrestle Dream as well. This could possibly still the weekend if given the time here. So Carmelo Hayes to defeat Ilya Dragunov in the main event of No Mercy. Let me know what you guys think about that down in the comments. As far as NXT and NXT No Mercy, we'll love to see your comments about this. AEW tonight. We have Dynamite tonight. We have Dynamite from Broomfield, Colorado. I don't know if that's outside of Denver or not, but from Broomfield, Colorado. And this is the final Dynamite before Wrestle Dream. We have a fair four-way match, four corners match, as they like to call it. Penta El Zero Miedo, Jesus, versus Matt Jackson versus Orange Cassidy versus Austin Gunn. We have a contract signed between Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland. The Elite and the Mogul Embassy are banned from ringside. You're gonna hear a sit-down interview with Jim Ross. That's gonna include Christian Cage, the TNT champion, and Darby Allin. You're going to have Julia Hart versus Willow Nightingale. I love both these women. I love me some Willow Nightingale. She's so awesome. I just love her personality. Julia Hart's coming a long way as well. So I'm interested in this match and to see how Julia defeats Willow, because Willow ain't winning this match because Julia's on a 26-match win streak. And then we'll hear from the Ring of Honor World Television Champions, World Tag Team Champions, MJF and Adam Cole. So Dynamite is shaping up to be not great per se, but this is the go home show for Wrestle Dream. I don't really think they're gonna go balls to the walls on this show. They're gonna keep it safe, and yeah, I mean I think that's probably the best thing to do is keep it safe, because you don't want nobody going in injured possibly at Wrestle Dream. And Adam Cole's injured too as well apparently, so we may hear stats about that tonight, and hopefully get stats on Jon Moxley as well. So that's AEW tonight, Dynamite tonight, and we will review the show tomorrow morning, and hopefully we get some news coming out of the show on Thursday's podcast, which is tomorrow. Well, I don't see any news coming here on the feed here on Twitter. So that is it, guys. That is it. That is the podcast here. Thank you guys so much for coming out, watching me here live on YouTube. Subscribe on the way out. I am here every weekday, Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you guys listen to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever it is, I really much so thank you for listening. Give it a 5-star review as well on all those platforms. I really much so appreciate that. And yeah, guys, that is it. Please rate, please subscribe, please drop a comment. That is it for the podcast today. And yeah, have a great day, guys. Peace.